Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Vidamaneo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business, and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You're listening to Season 5, Episode 17. Look, we all want to build workplaces that are fair, inclusive, and don't look like the cast of Mad Men. But now, the EEOC is coming in hot with new guidance that might make even your harmless DEI program feel like a legal landmine. So, what's a well-meaning employer supposed to do? Well, the EEOC has entered the chat, and they're not playing. The latest guidance from them and the Department of Justice basically says if you make decisions based on someone's race, sex, or other protected class, even if you think you're helping, you're violating the law. Translation? Your "we want more women on the team" hiring push? Well, it could be illegal if it's not handled correctly. Employee resource groups, DEI training, diversity scholarships, if they're not open to everyone, you could be accused of segregation or discrimination. So here's the real talk. This isn't about whether DEI is good or bad. It's about not giving the government a reason to show up at your door with a subpoena. And I'm not being dramatic here. The reality is many entrepreneurs have good intentions, but those good intentions might be getting you in trouble without you even knowing it. Now, I think it's important to say that compliance does not equal cowardice. You don't have to abandon your values to stay out of trouble. You just need to get smarter about how you execute. And here's the playbook. First, ditch the buzzwords, but keep the mission. Stop waving the DEI flag just to look good. Define inclusion in a way that actually includes everyone. You want a team where different perspectives are actually valued and heard, not just a place where you can put up the right Instagram post for Pride Month. Want diverse teams? Great. Focus on how you source, interview, and mentor, not quotas. This means expanding your network, considering different schools, different backgrounds, and maybe even looking at transferable skills rather than just industry experience. Second, kill the quotas, respect the goals. It's cool to want more women, more Black engineers, more LGBTQ plus leaders, but your hiring process better be based on merit, not metrics. And none of the one diverse candidate per role rules, unless everyone is equally qualified. In fact, that never was a good look. And by the way, do you know how awkward it is to be that token diverse interview? Trust me, candidates can tell. Third, open the employee resource group doors. If you have a women's leadership group, that's great. But if Bob from accounting wants to join, you need to let him. The point of these groups is to create community and understanding, not to build silos. If it's employees of color only, well, that's a problem. Keep the focus on support, not exclusion. Remember, we're trying to build bridges here. Fourth, train smarter, not louder. Trainings should build empathy and awareness, not shame or blame. And that's always been true. No one learns when they're feeling attacked or defensive. Don't roll out workshops with names like "white teachers are the problem." And yes, that actually comes from a real training in a real case. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. And honestly, how does that move us forward as a team? Teach inclusion and bias without alienating your team. Make it practical. How do we actually show up differently on Monday morning? What specific behaviors need to change? Fifth, reward behaviors, not checkboxes. Want to recognize DEI champions? That's awesome. But make sure you're rewarding what they do, not who they hire. Set clear, inclusive performance goals like mentoring or equitable team practices, not vague, quote-unquote, diversity points. Recognition should focus on actions, not just intentions. And small businesses? Don't get your smug on. You're in the crosshairs too. Think the EEOC is only going after big law firms? Well, think again. If you've ever filled out a vendor form asking about your diversity stats, or bragged on LinkedIn about your DEI wins, you've just opened the door to scrutiny for your company. The EEOC doesn't send a warning letter saying, hey, we'll be auditing you next Tuesday. They just show up. And when they do, they'll want to see your documentation, your processes, and your decision-making trails. So the lesson is, don't be loud about your DEI wins if you haven't double-checked your process. Quiet compliance is better than loud liability. And here's the thing. Once they start looking, they look at everything. That casual comment in a Slack channel, that joke in an email, those informal processes you've been meaning to formalize, well, they're all fair game. Listen, you can still be a good human. This isn't about ditching values. It's about leading with intention instead of impulse. You can still mentor unrepresented founders. You can still host inclusive panels and support employees who feel marginalized. You can design equitable policies that don't rely on race or gender checkboxes. The key difference is thoughtfulness. Are you creating initiatives that lift everyone up, or are you creating programs that inherently exclude? DEI doesn't have to be divisive, but it does have to be lawful. And honestly, the most effective DEI work isn't about checking boxes. It's about creating a culture where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. So, what should you do now? Well, this landscape is shifting like liquid. Things are changing every day. So, as always, the only responsible thing for you to do as a business leader is to get in lockstep with your labor council. Even though in many ways they're still figuring it all out, it's far better for you to get the skinny from the experts than relying on a Google search or your friends or even a podcast. Audit your DEI programs, your hiring practices, and internal policies. Don't assume good intentions are going to protect you. They won't. Documentation is your friend here. Educate your team, especially if they've been running fast and loose with DEI language. Make sure everyone understands that intention doesn't override impact or legality. Partner with people who know how to make your values actionable without turning your business into a lawsuit magnet. Doing the right thing includes protecting your team and your company. You can do both. It just takes thought, care, and really understanding the legal landscape. Remember, at the end of the day, a truly inclusive workplace is one where every employee feels valued, heard, and has equal opportunity to succeed. Focus on creating that environment, and you'll build something that not only complies with the law, but actually creates a better business. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional, and that's something every leader can do, regardless of company size or budget. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.